Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is R.S. Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds Indian scientists for developing indigenous COVID vaccine within a year. More than 22 crore 41 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far. Number of active and fresh cases of COVID-19 declines significantly. National recovery rate improves to 93.10%. Centre allocates additional 1,21,000 vials of amphotericin B to all states, UTs and central institutions. Defence Acquisition Council approves Navy's proposal for construction of 6 submarines at approximate cost of 43,000 crore rupees. Government extends visa validity of stranded foreign nationals till the 31st of August. Reserve Bank of India keeps key rates unchanged in its bi-monthly monetary policy. One day's state mourning to be observed tomorrow throughout India as a mark of respect to former President and former Prime Minister of Mauritius, Anirudh Jagannath, and in the French Open tennis, third-seeded Arina Sabalenka of Belarus, knocked out by Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. In the wake of COVID-19, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard and stay safe and protected by following these 4 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene, and get vaccinated. For providing COVID-related information and guidance to the people, national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075 are operational. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India is committed to become self-reliant in every sector. He said the global COVID-19 pandemic has slowed down the pace to achieve the target, but it is a resolve to become self-reliant and strong in multiple sectors. While chairing the virtual meeting of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR Society today, Mr. Modi said India is committed to become self-reliant in agriculture to astronomy, disaster management to defense technology and vaccines to virtual reality.
आज भारत एग्रीकल्चर से एस्ट्रोनॉमी तक, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट से डिफेंस टेक्नोलॉजी तक, वैक्सीन से लेकर के वर्चुअल रियलिटी तक, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी से लेकर के बैटरी टेक्नोलॉजी तक, हर दिशा में आत्मनिर्भर और सशक्त बनना चाहता है। आज भारत सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट और क्लीन एनर्जी के क्षेत्र में दुनिया को रास्ता दिखा रहा है। आज हम सॉफ्टवेयर से लेकर सैटेलाइट तक दूसरे देशों के विकास को भी गति दे रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister said COVID-19 pandemic has posed the biggest challenge of this century, but science has paved a way for a better future. He said creating solutions in crisis situations and creating possibilities is a fundamental vision of science. He said the scientists have made the country self-reliant in production of COVID testing kits, medicines and oxygen. He said the country is successfully dealing with the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic with the help of efforts made by the scientists. Appreciating the role of Indian scientists for developing the indigenous COVID vaccine within a year, the Prime Minister has said the scale and speed with which this work has been done is unprecedented. He said developing a vaccine in such a short time is perhaps the first event in history.
हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने 1 साल में ही मेड इन इंडिया कोरोना वैक्सीन बनाई और देशवासियों के लिए उपलब्ध करवा दी। 1 साल में ही हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने कोविड टेस्टिंग किट्स और अपनी जरूरी उपकरणों से देश को आत्मनिर्भर बना दिया। इतने कम समय में ही हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने कोरोना से लड़ाई में नई नई प्रभावी दवाएं तलाशी, ऑक्सीजन प्रोडक्शन को स्पीड अप करने के रास्ते खोजे। आपके इस योगदान से, इस असाधारण प्रतिभा से ही देश इतनी बड़ी लड़ाई लड़ रहा है।
The Prime Minister said Indian scientists are walking shoulder to shoulder with other countries and working at the same speed. Mr. Modi asserted that India is showing the way to the world in the field of sustainable development and clean energy. He said India is playing a role of major engine in the development of the world by accelerating the development of other countries in the fields of software to satellites. The Prime Minister said that India's goals should be in line with the needs of this decade as well as for the next decade. Recalling the role of eminent scientist Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, he said the future has a lot of expectations from scientists. He said it is necessary to prepare for the future's challenges so that solutions can be found for the upcoming disasters. Referring to the threat of climate change, he said scientists have to be prepared for similar challenges.
The government today said that 22.41 crore vaccine doses have been given till date. Briefing media in New Delhi, Joint Secretary in the Health Ministry Love Agarwal said 2.43 crore people in the age group 18 to 44 years have received the first dose and 15.86 crore doses were given to people aged over 45 years.
वैक्सीन के विषय में हम आप लोगों की दृष्टि में लाना चाहेंगे। देश में अब तक 22.41 करोड़ टोटल डोजेज दी जा चुकी हैं, जिसमें मुख्यतः हेल्थ केयर वर्कर्स, फ्रंटलाइन वर्कर्स एंड पीपल अबव 45 इयर्स ऑफ एज कवर किए गए हैं और साथ ही जो नई लिबरलाइज अप्रोच के तहत 18 टू 44 इयर्स के लोग अलाउ किए गए थे, उसमें भी अब एक स्टेबिलिटी इन टर्म्स ऑफ 2.43 करोड़ पीपल हु हैव बीन गिवन डोजेज नोट किया गया है.
He said the consistent increase in recovery rate has been observed since the 3rd of May when it was 81.8% to 93.1% as on date. The Joint Secretary said case positivity is also steadily declining from 21.62% between the 30th of April to 6th of May to 7.27% between the 28th of May and 3rd of June. He said larger number of districts are now reporting less than 5% case positivity. The count increased from 92 districts in the week ending the 7th of May to 377 districts in week ending the 3rd of June. Mr. Agarwal said the efforts on containment is reducing positivity. He said there has been a continuous decrease in daily active cases. There has been decrease in active cases by more than 21 lakh since the peak on the 10th of May. He said steady decline has been observed in average daily new cases as on today. Almost 63% decline has been observed in average cases recorded at peak. Mr. Agarwal said continuous decrease is being recorded in cases since India reported a peak on the 7th of May. Less than 2 lakh daily cases have been reported since the 28th of May and almost 68% decline is observed in the cases. Member Health in Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Paul said there has been consistent improvement in pandemic situation and the data on positivity is encouraging. He said the government is continuing to enforce a very high level of coverage in testing. Dr. Paul said,
हम कोविड केसेस पर 10 लाख पॉपुलेशन देखते हैं. ओवरऑल इंडिया इज 20,519. वर्ल्ड एवरेज इज स्टिल हायर देन अस, 22,181. जस्ट टू मेंशन अ कपल ऑफ अदर कंट्रीज, यूके 65,900 odd, USA 1,02,069, a huge multiple. So even with the second wave, overall burden experience adjusted for population is relatively modest. We keep that in mind as a matter of fact.
He said India has now overtaken the US in terms of the absolute number of people who have been given the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Referring to a global vaccination data, Dr. Paul said the number of people who have received at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccine in India is now higher than in the US. Amid the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, India is witnessing a significant decline in active caseloads and fresh cases of coronavirus. The Union Health Ministry said the recovery rate is continuously improving in the country and it has reached 93.08%. During the last 24 hours, over 2,07,000 patients recovered from the disease. So far, over 2,65 lakh patients have recovered from the infectious disease. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said the active caseload presently comprises 5.73% of the cumulative positive cases and it is continuously declining.
India has administered more than 22 crore 41 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. During the last 24 hours, a total of over 28 lakh 75,000 vaccine doses were administered. The country had launched the world's largest vaccination drive on the 16th of January this year. Chemical and Fertilizers Minister D.V. Sadananda Gowda has said that an additional 1,21,000 vials of amphotericin B have been allocated to all the states, UTs and central institutions today. He said additional 9,750 vials of amphotericin B have been allocated to Karnataka today. Inclusive of today's allocation, total 22,460 vials of the drug have been allocated to the state till now.
A dedicated community support helpline has been operationalized by the Ministry of Ayush to provide Ayush-based approaches and solutions for the challenges posed by COVID-19. The toll-free number is 14443. The helpline is operational pan-India from 6 a.m. till midnight, all 7 days of the week. The national helpline of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare for COVID-related queries is 1075. The child helpline number of the Ministry of Women and Child Development is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number of the Ministry of the Social Justice and Empowerment is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences NIMHANS for psychological support is 08046110007. Right from the beginning of the pandemic, the public carrier Air India has played a crucial role in mitigating the challenge posed by COVID-19. In the second wave of the pandemic, Air India played a major role in transporting zeolite for DRDO from different parts of the world to boost oxygen production. The government imported zeolite for use in PSA plants to generate oxygen supply in the country. More details in this report.
The national carrier has supplied zeolite from over 5 countries. Other than zeolite, Air India has transported medical equipments like oxygen concentrators, BiPAP machines, ventilators, medicines, etc. Hundreds of tons of medical equipments have been transported from many countries so far. The flight to Wuhan, China by Air India last year to evacuate stranded Indians is still fresh in everybody's memory. Since then, Air India flew several repatriation flights. Under the Vande Bharat mission, the national carrier has flown to and from to all parts of the world and has carried close to 3.5 million passengers till date. Air India operated over 26,000 flights under the VBM and air transport bubble arrangements. Spokesperson for Air India, Samik Bhattacharya says, National carrier Air India has always been standing by the nation in the hour of need. Diksha Saxena, AIR News, Delhi.
Veteran filmmaker and fashion designer Muzaffar Ali says that there is no better way of facing the coronavirus than getting vaccinated. Speaking exclusively to AIR News, the maker of classic films like Umrao Jaan and Gaman said he has got both his doses of vaccine.
I have had my vaccination, both the doses, against COVID-19, and it's my sincere recommendation that each one of us should get themselves vaccinated. There's no better way to save yourself, to keep you safe from this deadly pandemic.
A research of the Banaras Hindu University, BHU, claims that at least 7 major strains of coronavirus were circulating in Varanasi and adjoining regions during the second wave of the pandemic in the month of April this year. BHU Varanasi and the CSIR Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Hyderabad, have collaboratively sequenced genomes of coronavirus variants in Varanasi and adjoining areas. The study reports at least 7 major strains of coronavirus circulating in these regions. The multidisciplinary research unit headed at BHU collected samples from Varanasi and areas around the city, mostly in the month of April. 130 samples were sequenced in this study.
The Odisha government today cancelled the Plus 2 final year board examinations conducted by the Council for Higher Secondary Education CHSE in view of the corona pandemic. Announcing this, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik said that the CHSE has been directed to evaluate the competence of students through well-defined objective criteria within a fixed time schedule. A report.
CHSE, the body responsible to conduct the Plus 2 board examination in the state, has also been asked to determine the fresh dates for the examination after the COVID situation improves, should any student decide to sit for the final year board exam on being dissatisfied with such evaluation. Announcing this, Chief Minister Mr. Patnaik said that the lives of the students are more important than examinations. Earlier, the state government had cancelled the board examination for class 10th that was due this year due to the worsening COVID-19 situation in the state. Girish Chandradas, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has announced that stringent restrictions will be implemented in the state from tomorrow till next Wednesday to contain the spread of infection. From tomorrow, only those shops and establishments selling essentials will be allowed to function. The government institutions will function only from 10th of this month with 50% staff. Those who are coming to Kerala from outside the state should mandatorily carry a COVID-19 negative certificate.
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma directed that the Health Department not to allow home quarantine to COVID patients of any age group with comorbidity. He held a review meeting in Guwahati today with the Health Department officials. In the meeting, the Chief Minister also discussed the issue of fixing the rate of private hospitals for COVID treatment, and patient-friendly, reasonable prices were fixed for COVID treatment in both general wards and super speciality wards in private hospitals. The Chief Minister also reviewed the status of pediatric ICUs which have been set up at various government hospitals, along with functioning of 13 oxygen plants in the state, apart from status of installation of 6 oxygen plants provided by the central government to the state. The Meghalaya government has decided to extend the lockdown for another week till the 14th of June as new COVID-19 cases continue to rise in rural areas. Meghalaya Chief Minister Congrad K. Sangma, after a review meeting today, informed the media that the entire state will be under lockdown with relaxations in certain sectors which will be decided by the Deputy Commissioners.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds Indian scientists for developing indigenous COVID vaccine within a year. More than 22 crore 41 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far. Number of active and fresh cases of COVID-19 declines significantly. National recovery rate improves to 93.10%. Centre allocates additional 1,21,000 vials of amphotericin B to all states, UTs and central institutions. Defence Acquisition Council approves Navy's proposal for construction of 6 submarines at approximate cost of 43,000 crore rupees. Government extends visa validity of stranded foreign nationals till 31st of August. Reserve Bank of India keeps key rates unchanged in its bi-monthly monetary policy. One day's state mourning to be observed tomorrow throughout India as mark of respect to former President and Prime Minister of Mauritius, Anirudh Jagannath. And in French Open tennis, third-seeded Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus knocked out by Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back. You're listening to the evening news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the World Environment Day event tomorrow morning through video conferencing. The event has been jointly organized by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas and the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The theme for this year's event is Promotion of Biofuels for Better Environment. During the event, the Prime Minister will release the report of the Expert Committee on Roadmap for Ethanol Blending in India 2020-2025. Prime Minister will launch a pilot project of E100 dispensing stations at 3 locations in Pune. Prime Minister will also interact with farmers to gain insight on the first-hand experience as enablers under the ethanol blended petrol and compressed biogas programs. The Defence Acquisition Council DAC today approved Navy's proposal for construction of 6 submarines at approximate cost of 43,000 crore rupees. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh chaired the meet. Our correspondent reports this is a landmark approval, being the first case processed under the Strategic Partnership model. More from a correspondent.
This would be one of the largest Make in India projects, and it will create a tiered industrial ecosystem for submarine construction in the country. With accord of this approval, India will be enabled to achieve its 30-year submarine construction program envisioned by the government to acquire national competence in submarine construction. The availability of new technologies and advanced manufacturing capabilities to Indian industry will be an important step towards enhancing the nation's quest for self-reliance in modern conventional submarine construction. It will also create direct and indirect job opportunities in the country. This project provides a unique long-term opportunity and planning certainty for Indian industry to invest and support submarine construction. It will also infuse the latest technology for submarines in India through strategic tie-up between Indian industry and leading foreign original equipment manufacturers. With Anupam, Saubhagya, Air News, Delhi.
DAC also approved air defense guns and ammunition for the army worth 6,000 crore rupees under the Buy and Make Indian category. This will enable the armed forces to complete the emergent and critical acquisitions.
India today extended its visa validity till the 31st of August due to the difficulties being faced by foreign nationals who came to the country prior to March last year and got stranded due to the COVID-19 lockdown. The Home Ministry in a statement said the Indian visa or stay stipulation period of such foreign nationals stranded in India will be considered as deemed to be valid till the 31st of August 2021 on gratis basis without levy of any overstay penalty. These foreign nationals will not be required to submit any application to the FRRO or FRO concerned for extension of their visas. Reserve Bank of India today kept interest rates unchanged in its monetary policy declared as expected. The repo rate has been kept at 4% while reverse repo rate at the central bank's borrowing has been unchanged at 3.35%. While announcing the decisions, RBI Governor Shaktikant Das said that policy support from all sides is required to regain momentum of growth and to nurture the recovery after it has taken root. For the sixth time in a row, RBI has kept benchmark rates unchanged. MSF and bank rates have also been maintained at 4.25%. In order to boost hotels and restaurants, tourism sector, tour operators and aviation ancillary services, a separate liquidity window of 15,000 crore rupees is being opened, in which banks can provide fresh lending support to these sectors.
Education Minister Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank today said that keeping the safety and security of the students on priority, National Institute of Open Schooling NIOS has cancelled Class 12 examinations. He said students will be evaluated based on objective criteria to be announced soon. Dr. Pokhriyal said it will benefit around 1.75 lakh students. In a historic development in the education system in Ladakh, Lieutenant Governor R.K. Mathur launched the UN-TAB Scheme 2021 from Leh today. UN-TAB scheme has been formulated to encourage digital learning, bridge the digital divide between connected and unconnected, and mitigate the COVID pandemic disruptions. Each Android 10-based 32 GB tab with 8-inch screen tab has online and offline apps along with 35 books in PDF format for class 9 to 12 students.
Keeping in mind the needs of elderly persons, Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment Thawarchand Gehlot today launched the SAGE initiative and SAGE portal. SAGE, or Senior Care Aging Growth Engine portal, is envisioned as a one-stop access of elderly care products and services by credible startups. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has said that the startups will be selected on the basis of innovative products and services, which they should be able to provide across sectors such as health, housing, care centers, apart from technological access linked to finances, food and wealth management and legal guidance. It added that startups can apply for being a part of SAGE through a dedicated portal which will open from tomorrow. It said that a fund of up to 1 crore rupees as one-time equity will be granted to each selected startup. President Ramnath Kovind has expressed sadness at the demise of former President and Prime Minister of Mauritius, Sir Anirudh Jagannath. In a tweet, Mr. Kovind said that Sir Anirudh Jagannath was a global statesman and a visionary leader, a Padma Vibhushan and an extraordinary friend of India. Mr. Kovind said that his landmark contributions to India-Mauritius relations will always be remembered. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also today spoke to Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth and conveyed heartfelt condolences on the sad demise of Sir Anirudh Jagannath. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Sir Anirudh Jagannath will be remembered as one of the tallest leaders of the Indian Ocean region and a principal architect of India's special friendship with Mauritius.
As a mark of respect to former President and former Prime Minister of Mauritius, Anirudh Jagannath, the Government of India has decided that there will be a one-day state mourning tomorrow throughout India. Mr. Jagannath passed away yesterday. Tomorrow, the national flag will be flown at half-mast on the day of the mourning throughout India, and all buildings where the national flag is flown regularly, and there will be no official entertainment on the day. U.S. President Joe Biden has signed an executive order that bans U.S. entities from investing in many Chinese companies with alleged ties to defense or surveillance technology sectors. The U.S. Treasury Department will enforce and update on a rolling basis the new list of about 59 companies which bars buying or selling publicly traded securities in target companies.
The Sensex and the Nifty today ended marginally down amid negative cues from the global equity markets. The rupee depreciated 9 paise against the US currency, and global oil prices extended gains to trade above $71 per barrel.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today chaired a high-level meeting to review the progress of India's vaccination drive. During the meeting, officials gave a detailed presentation on various aspects of the vaccination drive. The Prime Minister was briefed about the current availability of vaccines and the roadmap for ramping it up. He was also apprised about the efforts undertaken to help various vaccine manufacturers ramp up production of vaccines. Government of India is actively working with vaccine manufacturers and helping them in terms of facilitating more production units, financing and supply of raw materials. Mr. Modi reviewed the status of vaccination coverage in healthcare workers as well as frontline workers. He also took stock of the vaccination coverage in the above 45 as well as 18 to 44 age group.
In third round matches of women's section of French Open, third seed Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus was knocked out by Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. Two-times Grand Slam winner Victoria Azarenka defeated American Madison Keys 6-2, 6-2, while Kazakh Elena Rybakina sealed a 6-1, 6-4 victory over Russia's Elena Vesnina. In the men's section, Japan's Kei Nishikori progressed to the last 16 after his opponent Henry Laaksonen of Switzerland retired hurt, trailing 7-5.
As the southwest monsoon is expected to intensify across Kerala, yellow alert has been declared in 10 districts tomorrow. All districts, excluding Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam, Pattamthita and Palakkad, are under yellow alert. As gusty winds at a speed of 40 to 50 kilometers is expected, the Disaster Management Authorities warned the fishermen in Kerala coast not to venture into the sea for fishing. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is expected to have partly cloudy sky. In Mumbai, rain or thunder showers would occur towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature will be around 27 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky. Jammu will have partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh will have partly cloudy sky. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky with minimum temperature to be around 17 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to rise up to 37 degrees. And in Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauds Indian scientists for developing indigenous COVID vaccine within a year. More than 22 crore 41 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far. Number of active and fresh cases of COVID-19 declines significantly. National recovery rate improves to 93.10%. Centre allocates additional 1,21,000 vials of amphotericin B to all states, UTs and central institutions. Defence Acquisition Council approves Navy's proposal for construction of 6 submarines at approximate cost of 43,000 crore rupees. Government extends visa validity of stranded foreign nationals till the 31st of August. Reserve Bank of India keeps key rates unchanged in its bi-monthly monetary policy. One-day state mourning to be observed tomorrow throughout India as a mark of respect to former President and Prime Minister of Mauritius, Anirudh Jagannath, and in the French Open tennis, third-seeded Arina Sabalenka of Belarus knocked out by Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.